A big thank you to Jero for sponsoring today's video on Patreon. Yawgmoth versus Freyalise with some heavy stuff, but yeah, turn 2 Dreadhorde Invasion isn't the worst. Argument to be made for us holding on to the 7 land hand, so that we can discard Pitiless Plunderer maybe, and then reanimate it, but yeah, I don't think it's really worth doing that. Our opponent gets down a Sol Ring and a Painter's Servant, making everything black, which is no doubt part of a combo. Play out the Bojuka Bog on turn 1, and we drew into an extra planar lens this turn, which isn't particularly good with only 1 swamp in hand. Well, there's a whole lot of colourless mana from our opponent. I mean, the last thing you expect from a mono green player is that they'll struggle with mana, especially their colours. So that might buy us some time here. A Dictate of Erebos for us, and we're getting down the Dreadhorde Invasion here. Our opponent being forced to just pass the turn, not even swinging in with the Painter's Servant. That is a Rite of Bells unlock for us, so we're just hoping for a land next turn really, because there's nothing we can do here either. Baleful Mastery now can get rid of the Painter's Servant. It will draw them a card. We can't use this to get rid of our own creature and draw ourselves a card, unfortunately. So we're both at a bit of a stalemate here. Alright, and they, of all the lands, get into Yawgmoth Cradle of Growth, so immediately fixing their colours. They can get down their commander here. Let's see what they do. They could tick down the Freyalise. Instead ticking up the Freyalise, which fixes their mana somewhat. They could drop a land next turn and just get down the Freyalise again, so I think we go after the Painter's Servant here. Deal with the combo before it happens. That'll take them up to 7 cards in hand. Alright, we managed to get into a land as well, so let's swing in towards the Freyalise first, see if we can get them to chump block. They're losing an elf this turn either way, because I'll sacrifice the zombie to get rid of that with the Yawgmoth. Want to have them struggle on mana if I can help it. They do decide to let the Freyalise go down to 2, so we will play out our Yawgmoth. And then, like I said, pay 1 life, minus counter on the Elf Druid, and sacrifice our zombie to do that. Gets us into Machaos the Unhallowed, drawing into all of our expensive stuff. Hoping that we can keep Yawgmoth in play, we can reanimate it. Alright, deciding to let go of the Freyalise, that's not the worst thing. We do have Rite of Bells unlock, so we can still use that as token fodder for the Yawgmoth. They're still a couple of mana away from getting their commander down again if they don't want to sacrifice the Crystal Vein. And now a Fierce Empath allows them to tutor up a big creature. It is a Regal Force they went for. I mean, yeah, not a particularly good Regal Force at the moment. Playing out a Mist Veil or a Misty Rainforest. So cracking that for a forest straight away. 7 cards in hand still. Deciding to crack the Crystal Vein. So that takes them into natural order. Maybe going for, alright, a Thorn Mammoth. So yeah, it is a good job that we've got the reanimate, because we lose our commander here. Going to leave it in the bin. And that is a Nest of Scarabs for us. So yeah, we can pretty much go infinite there, I think. We're going to need some sack fodder first though. So we'll go for the reanimate onto our commander, or do we just go Rite of Bells unlock here? Because they can just play out another creature next turn and fight with the Thorn Mammoth. This is any creature entering, I think. Yeah, that does include tokens, so I think we're best going for the Rite of Bells unlock here, and then we can reanimate our commander and get down Nest of Scarabs next turn. Elvish Reclaimer will get them to kill off a cleric token. We'll get a couple more cleric tokens at the beginning of next turn, so not too worried about that. Luckily for us, they are still struggling on the land front, haven't made another land yet. Then it is Crop Rotation, getting rid of a forest, gets them into Gaia's Cradle, which will tap for 2 mana as it stands now. And thankfully they've got the Yawgmoth in place, so that will always tap for a green at the very least. No real downside in getting that into play. Sylvan Library searches them up a land. They search up and play Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. So starting to get somewhere now. 4 cards in hand. They've got 4 mana available to them. And with that 4 mana, playing out a Sarith the Viper's Fang, which allows them to get rid of the last cleric token. Take 6 damage to the elephant. Alright, it is a Lightning Greaves, luckily, going to replace those 2 clerics at the beginning of the turn. So let's get down... Yeah, we'll get down the Nest of Scarabs first before we go for reanimate. That way we can better respond to any interaction our opponent might have. I mean, they're tapped out, so it's not likely, but it's a good habit to get into to do it this way. So then reanimate onto our commander. And now pay a life will get rid of this thing first, because it's giving untapped creatures hexproof. Drawing into Lolth first of all, and put a minus counter on something. It's instantly, the sacrificed creature is instantly replaced with an insect token, so we can do this forever. The only problem is we're losing a lot of life to do it. Getting ourselves into a mana crypt, so it's probably worth doing that with the lightning greaves. We'll see what else we draw into, because we haven't made a land yet. There we see a swamp. We've drawn into defense grid as well. It's going to cost us 10 life to get rid of these two creatures, but I think it's worth doing. So going down to 11 life, drawing a bunch of cards. That is a demonic tutor for us. So do we get down the crypt or not? We want a swamp in play here for sure, I think. Argument to be made for us throwing down Thespian Stage and making a copy of Gaia's Cradle. Yeah, maybe could have done that with the mana crypt. Yeah, let's go for the mana crypt, and we'll throw out lightning greaves as well. So can actually just go for Everflowing Chalice. We can kick that and just make it tap for 1 mana. And then after that get down the lightning greaves and equip. We will swing in at our opponent. Discarding at the end of the turn there, that was, let's see, the Deserted Temple, Solemn Simulacrum, Geralf's Messenger, because I don't think we have enough life to combo off with that now. Necro Skitter, the Defense Grid, Lolth, Mikaeus, and Ogre Slumlord. Eternal Witness going to bring something back out of the graveyard, and that is a natural order, so yeah, before they get that back we'll kill off their Eternal Witness, because they do need to be able to sacrifice something. Draws us into a Zulaport Cutthroat, which is going to negate the life we're losing as long as they keep playing creatures. Alright, so we're on a bit of a race against time here now with the mana crypt potentially. See if we lose 3 to this. We do. A Spawning Pit is another sack outlet. We are going to make a Demon token here, which will have haste. So I think we get down the extra planar lens here and we can sacrifice a basic. Then play out a swamp. Go for Demonic Tutor. Trouble with Yawgmoth is I can't remember all the different combos you can go for. So let's just get down Kakusho here. I think we'll play a slightly more fair game of Yawgmoth. Give the Demon token haste and we'll turn in sideways for as much damage as we can here. And then continue to protect our commander with the Lightning Greaves. Only 4 cards left in our opponent's hand. We know one of them is a natural order, but they need to get a creature down first. So just passing the turn over to us, winning the Mana Crypt flip, and the Demon is going to have us sacrifice an insect. Drawing into Tevesh Sat, Doom of Fools, we will just get down the Zulaport Cutthroat. Yeah, Command Beacon, not bad. Maybe Thespian Stage onto the Gaia's Cradle is a good idea. We'll just play it out anyway. And let's get down Tevesh Sat, Doom of Fools, I think. Oh wow, sorry, I didn't realise my opponent was talking in the chat here. Yeah, looks like there's a little bit of saltiness from my opponent here. But we'll wait and see if they actually play this out. Yep, well, at least they decided to scoop and not just run down the clock. I think that was a reasonably lengthy game, so we'll just leave it there. Yeah, there was probably some kind of infinite that I could have got on my opponent. But like I said, it's been a while since I played Yawgmoth, so I can't remember them all. But I'm sure some of you in the comments section can let us know. If you enjoyed seeing a return to Yawgmoth in 1v1, then be sure to hit the thumbs up button, because that will tell YouTube that you're enjoying the video, and it will push it out to other potential viewers to help discover the channel. Massive thank you to the patrons as ever. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.